Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be specifically talking about Throgg, the king of the monsters. Now he's had a lot of work done. It's not just the Norsca rework, but he's got a fairly unique stylized campaign to focus around trolls. And while it's not ideally perfect, because there are some things I would love to see changed up, mostly just to allow for even more specialized trolls, I think it's a really stylized campaign. And you'll see can establish a troll empire, calling upon the troll and beasts of the monstrous horde to support his invasions, but there's actually a lot more to that. Again, specific locations can provide limited access to bile trolls, chaos trolls, river trolls, and stone trolls. It's a pretty cool system, though it could be a little bit better just from a little bit of a touch-up, right? It's nothing too big. So, I've played a full campaign on him on stream in 8 hours. I managed to get the whole long victory done, where there is just so much going on, really. You can get really super cheap troll armies, you can get really killy. In fact, I think this is the first time in, 10 years that this series has existed, more or less, that I've willingly recruited troll units and actually enjoyed myself. It's super weird. This is definitely the campaign that I thought I was not going to like. I absolutely despise troll units. I don't know how to use them properly. But hey, it seems that it works incredibly well. So on the 4th of December, you're going to want to start off a brand new campaign. You don't even need the brand new DLC tied to Torment. Again, videos on the specific campaigns will happen at some point later this week on Saturday. But I do have to remind you that specific faction reworks and so on are always considered free content. You don't even have to worry about marauder units anymore. So you already have a reduced upkeep for troll units. And finally, Throgg himself has access to tier 1 Norscan trolls and ice trolls. The gameplay loop is pretty much the same as you can expect. Fight some other Norscan factions, confederate them, deal with Malachi because, well, Malachi is a very big problem, and yeah, with your trolls it's going to be a bit of a difficult push. But once you've gotten that sorted, well, yeah, it's going to be smooth sailing. Now, there are a few weird bugs and stuff that you need to know about his campaign, so I figured we'll talk about that. Those bugs will likely get fixed by launch, but just in case, because you never know, as some weird abnormalities have been popping up during the early access build, where stuff has been working prior and then not because the build gets updated. It happens in the panic of a launch. So things that you need to know. The Lair of the Troll King does not have a landmark, which is weird. I guess it's because the fact is there are 2 other landmarks within that specific region, but it feels very odd that Throgg has no specific landmark whatsoever. The landmarks attached to that area are mostly focusing around your marauders, which not really ideal considering that you're not going to be using marauders at all, really. I am fairly sure there was something prior, but I guess it's disappeared. But it's not really a deal breaker because there's other buildings which are going to jump in, and there's a lot of changes coming in with your domination and everything else. Instead, what you have is Troll Kingdom buildings, and these are going to vary depending on where you're building these, right? So the standard settlements, which is like areas around Norsca and other parts of the world, they're going to have 2 different types. One that's going to give you spoils per turn at exclusive troll kind, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, alongside a normal troll building. And this is going to give you domination, again, domination later on in this video. These are going to also act as your main infrastructure building, so you don't need to use the normal Norscan infrastructure buildings. That would have been for your minor settlements. Your major settlements will have a larger tree, and again, varies on where you go. So more infrastructure, casualty replenishment for local province. It's going to give you troll domination. All of these buildings are also going to give you some form of extra garrison, which is going to focus on trolls. Your garrison buildings, your standard ones, are still relatively important here though, so keep that in mind. I get that these don't look like the most exciting settlement buildings, but they really do help, and given the fact that you're going to be quite specialized and you're likely not going to focus on marauders, you're not really losing out on too many slots. They do help your economy out dramatically, and you do end up with quite a decent amount of cash. You have noticed that those buildings cost troll kind, and that's a resource generated from other buildings and those normal buildings that you're getting anyway, but also through your trolls. So trolls and monsters will naturally generate troll kind for you, which you'll then spend on other stuff too. So it's all kind of symbiotic. With that resource then being built up for other buildings which give you troll dominion, and troll dominion is going to give you some powerful faction-wide bonuses. So these faction-wide bonuses will be attached to picking up like upkeep reductions for your trolls, some powerful bonuses, recruit rank, leadership. It's all symbiotic here, and the more that you build up, the benefits that you get are just stacking constantly. It's also going to give you recruitment capacity for certain troll units, which you can further improve with certain buildings and just in general tech trees. It's actually incredibly structured for a Norscan campaign. Well, in general, just like structured for a troll horde, right? Like, you weren't expecting this, which plays out incredibly well, but there's a bit more to it, because those buildings, as unique as they may be, there are some further unique ones, and this is where some bugs start coming in. Around the world, and a lot in the Northern Chaos Waste, there are sections known as troll dens, and right now there's bugs, right? So it might not pop up until you take a settlement around the area, or you get like full vision. It's something that is just super weird. This is why some content creators might have just omitted that, because it wasn't working on some builds and just not showing up. But yes, there are troll dens, and these troll dens form part of your troll kingdom, but they're a bit more unique. You see, certain troll dens might be more in the style of bile trolls, chaos trolls. If you go to Albion, for example, there's one for river trolls too. Those are units that you can recruit towards your armies, but they are a little limited, with further expansion allowing you to get a few more. However, as far as I've seen, there is a hard cap. This does mean that you're going to have to push your way into the Northern Chaos Waste and other locations and try and seek them out, which those icons should really be shown all the time. But these will give you not only access to being able to recruit these troops, but the tree focus there, the Warped Cave, for example, will give you upkeep reductions to your trolls faction-wide. First up on 1%, second up on 2%. Those are really, really strong, because, yeah, that means that you can have full troll armies just really blasting through there. It's kind of unfortunate that you need to start exploring a little bit more to find them, where in other cases, when there's special buildings, like for example when you're playing with Warzag, you can see those markers without sometimes having to take over the settlement to see if that's going to be valuable to you. But you're generally going to want to push up to the Northern Chaos Waste early into your campaign. Careful, Wulfric will declare war on you. I have noticed that Wulfric will teleport back to Norsca, and he will be a problem, alongside other Chaos factions declaring war on you. But if you push up quite quickly, you can end up with bile trolls around the Nurgle areas, you know where Epidemius is, and those are quite powerful. My only complaint here is I wish that some of those buildings also allowed for extra capacity, because, you know, those are really cool units, and I would like to be able to use them more. Yeah, the push is mostly just using the Norse controls themselves, but it would be cool just to get more and more. I think the hard limit that I found was around 24 per different type of troll of the non-native Norsca ones. I might be wrong there, but that's as far as I've gotten so far. And I'd argue that's not really enough. Yeah, sure, you're incentivized to use other monsters too, but bile trolls are cool, man. Same as river trolls. Now, you're saying, oh, well, trolls are crap, and, well, generally they are, but not only do you have the faction-wide bonuses that you normally get, but Throg also has access to a certain amount of skills, which will increase how useful they are faction-wide, right? So this is going to focus around physical resistance for all the different troll types, and there is a weapon strength skill for all the monsters, but, I mean, those monsters are cool, but just full trolls is fun, and yeah, it is viable to bring in, like, Ettins or Chimeras or anything else, by the way. Skin walls are also very useful to pair alongside your trolls anyway, and there's text to boost them. Which, thankfully, there are a lot of technologies to focus around making your trolls a little bit better, giving them some much-needed leadership because they break too easily, alongside two specific techs, which are only for Throg, because they've done some pretty interesting stuff with this recent patch. The tech trees will be overhauled, but there are certain techs which are only available to certain lords, or they've got unique ones, and I like that. I think that's an overall good system, because it makes you have a little bit special stuff, right, just for you. They do cost spoils, but your spoil generation will be fairly decent overall. And then the final thing, which will also cost you troll kind, is the Call of the Monstrous Horde. At the very beginning, it's not going to be amazing. It's just going to get you a few units here and there as a secondary army. And it's only available at the very beginning to one army. There'll be a cooldown, they'll give you about 3 units, it's very random, so you can end up with a Dreadmore, you can end up with a Chimera, it very much depends, right? As you start getting more techs, doing some more things around your campaign, you can boost it up, and you can then end up getting all of your armies being affected, with I think the maximum being 20. I've only been able to get it to around 17, but yeah, it is wild. You can get loads of random armies basically just rampaging across the old world. It is hilarious. This is from my stream campaign, which was just so horrendously cursed. I was having so much fun with that. And as you can see, you can really start to snowball quite dramatically with Throg, as long as you know where to go. Sure, it's not amazing, and I do wonder why Creative Assembly are pushing going back to the Northern Chaos Waste a lot. Because it's on parity with stuff like the Warriors of Chaos. It's like, well, you want to stay in the Warriors of Chaos territories just to get more Dark Fortresses. But Throg, in my mind, has gone from, I wouldn't even put him on a tier list, to, oh wow, he's actually like a B tier now, which isn't too bad. He's really, really fun. Again, if Creative Assembly can come in and just like increase the capacity a little bit more or find a way to just naturally increase the capacity a bit more for the trolls, it would be so much better. Because I would like to bring in more monsters. There is cases like, yeah, sure, you know, you want to bring in the Famir, you want to bring in the Ettins and the Skinwolves, and those are naturally going to be added into armies, but let me have a reason just to go full troll, have loads of Bow Trolls, have loads of River Trolls, and just have them at zero upkeep, essentially. Eventually you can, I think. It very much depends on how many troll dens there are. I haven't found all of them, clearly. But, like, you can get so many, because, like, -2 upkeep per one that's fully upgraded, it stacks. It really does stack alongside the 20% that you get from the faction effect, and also, I think it's about 5 to 10% through the tech trees. Like, it really does stack. And having a free troll army is wonderful. Sure, you're going to be mixing them with other units, but in some cases, you just want to do an oh shit moment, get a bunch of ice trolls, or, you know, in the possible future, it could be just a bunch of battle trolls and stuff and have some fun with it. But yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised, or better yet said, shocked about how Throg plays right now. But if you want to see more, there's a lot more videos coming out, and obviously I'll be streaming live on twitch.tv/thegreatbookofgrudges. Pop by, say hi. I'm not sure what we'll be playing today, because I don't know where these videos are dropping. Everything is all over the place at the moment, because things change, updated builds come in, so I have to re-record. It becomes a bit of an issue. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye.